So, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining me today for this webinar on human first marketing in the age of AI. For those people who don't know me, not met me before, I'm Elaine Tibbetts and I own Tipsy Communications, which is a small, medium-sized, where I help small, medium-sized businesses with their marketing. I've been in marketing, it says 25 years on the screen, but I've actually realised it's closer to 30 now. So a lot of experience, seen a lot of change through marketing in the last 30 years. And more recently, in the last few years, there's been a lot more change with the involvement of digital, but now particularly spanning into AI. So what we're going to cover today is the human connection and how that is your biggest marketing advantage, and how AI, whilst it's changing the way we create content, and why being human matters more than ever. I'll run through the 5-part human connection framework that I've created to help support this. And we'll also look at how to balance AI with human creativity and how you can then apply that framework in your marketing. And the goal really is to help you create marketing that doesn't just reach people, but it actually resonates with them. So AI and marketing in AI is something that's becoming increasingly important for businesses of all sizes. How do we create marketing that still feels human in a world where AI is making it easier than ever to create content? AI has really changed the marketing landscape. It has given businesses access to tools that can help them write faster, create content more efficiently, and automate many parts of their marketing. But there is still a challenge. And the challenge really is when everybody has access to the same tools and the same prompts, and I think I've gone a slide too far, go back. So when people have access to the same tools, same prompts, same capabilities, how do you make sure your brand doesn't just blend into the noise? And the answer to this is really connection. People don't build relationships. People connect with businesses because they feel understood, they trust them, and they recognize there's something authentic. And today we're going to look at the human connection framework, which is 5 principles that will help businesses create marketing that's clear, relatable, and memorable. And so by the end of the session, you should have a better understanding of how to use AI as an assistant while keeping the human elements that make your brand unique intact and in place. So there's no doubt that AI has created some incredible opportunities for marketers. It can help us create drafts faster, generate ideas quicker, analyze information, repurpose content, and automate repetitive tasks. And that's across the board. That's not just in marketing that it can help with repetitive tasks, it's across the business as a whole. For smaller businesses, especially, these tools can be incredibly valuable because they help save time and resources. However, there is still a challenge. The accessibility of AI means that more businesses are producing more content than ever before. And the question is no longer, can we create content? The question becomes, how can we create content that people will actually care about? And if everyone is using the same tools, following similar prompts, producing similar styles of content, then simply creating more isn't going to help you stand out. And the brands that are going to succeed in this market will be the ones that combine this technology with something AI can't replace. And that is genuine human understanding. So why does human connection matter more than ever? And this really, at the heart of marketing, is human connection and human behavior. People make decisions based on emotion, trust, and relationships. And even when we're thinking we're making a decision purely logically, we're actually not. People buy from brands that they trust, they know, they like. And in smaller businesses, that is really how people buy. And networking is a great tool for helping you build those relationships and trust. And people remember brands that make them feel like they're understood. They understand what you're going through as an individual, and they interpret their marketings to support that. And if you think about your own buying decisions here, you might compare prices and features, but really, if it was a big purchase or a service for your business, it's the final decision is going to come down to how you feel about that person you might work with, or how you feel about that business as a whole. Do they understand your problem? Do you believe they can help you? And do they feel like somebody that holds the same values? And do you feel like they're someone you want to work with? And whilst technology helps us communicate more efficiently, it cannot replace the emotional connection that builds loyalty. And that's why human first marketing is becoming more important and not less. So what is the human advantage in an AI world? So whilst AI is changing the way we approach marketing, and it's important to recognise this is not something that businesses should be necessarily fighting against or putting up barriers against. It's such a powerful tool. It can now help us be more efficient, generate ideas faster, as I've said, analyse information, and create content at a scale that actually wasn't physically possible before. So the opportunity is huge. But as it's more accessible, the role of human creativity and connection in that content becomes more important. So the question becomes, should we use that? Is no longer actually, should we use AI? The question becomes, how do we use it in a way that strengthens our brand rather than making us blend in? And because AI helps us create content, but it doesn't know about our individual personal experiences, and unless you've programmed it and personalized it for your business, it might not know about your values. It might not understand your customer's emotions, because that's one thing AI can't do, is necessarily understand human emotion at the moment. Or the unique perspective that makes our business so different that sometimes is quite hard to articulate. So brands that will stand out are ones that combine the efficiency of AI with things that make us human, as in storytelling, empathy, personality, and genuine understanding. And this is where the human connection framework comes in, because what it will do is give us a way, or what I believe it does, I should say, it will give businesses a way to make sure that whilst we embrace all this new technology, we don't lose the human elements that build this trust and loyalty and create these meaningful relationships. So the future isn't about choosing between AI and human marketing. It's about using AI as a tool to enhance the human connection behind our brands. So the 5-part human connection framework, and I will walk through each part individually, is really built about 5 areas that help businesses create marketing so it feels more authentic and more effective. The 5 pillars are one, oh goodness, I'm hot on the mouse today, are your voice. So how you sound, what's your unique tone, word choices, I'll talk about that more. So creating that clarity. Number 2 is presence. So how you show up, the consistency, visibility, the energy that you generate. Number 3 is empathy. So showing that you understand your audience, knowing what they're feeling. 4 is story and how you communicate that meaning. And 5 is your human judgment, where you decide when to override the AI. And as these 5 elements work together, it helps you have that whole connection with the audience. And if one is missing, your marketing might feel a little bit incomplete. So we're going to go through each of these, because ultimately at the center of all of this connection framework is the emotional connection. And that should be at the heart of everything and stay at the center of everything you say and do. I am having a nightmare today with my mouse. So part 1, clarity, which is really that voice. So before people connect to your brand, they need to understand it. And one of the biggest mistakes some businesses can make is assuming their audience understands their industry as well as they do. So they have a tendency to use a lot of jargon or complicated explanations because they're so close to what they do every day. But generally, your audience doesn't need that complexity. They need clarity. They need to understand and be clear on what you're saying. So can someone visiting your website understand what you do within seconds? Do they understand how you help them? And do they know what problem you're trying to help them solve? So with clear messaging, that will build your confidence because people know they're in the right place. And that's all part of your voice and tone. And these are slightly out of sync to how the framework works. I've just realised, I do apologise, because next we're going to go on to empathy. And I think empathy really stems out of clarity, because this is how you work with your audience to start understanding and not selling. So you really start with, what does your audience want to hear? Customers have challenges, frustrations, questions, and goals. So the more you understand what those are, the more relevant your marketing becomes. And for example, instead of saying we provide professional marketing services, a more empathic approach might be to say we help busy business owners create consistent marketing without feeling overwhelmed. The second message there shows understanding and speaks to the challenge, because people want to feel that they are seen before they are sold to. So make sure that when you're creating your messaging and working through it, that you are putting yourself in the shoes of your audience. And then part 3 is personality. Your brand, regardless, should sound like a person. It should sound like a person, but it should all link back to how you are. So I've got reminders going on everywhere today. So one of the biggest opportunities businesses have right now is to demonstrate their personality and build that personality in through their storytelling, in through their tone of voice, in through how they communicate to their customer. And whilst AI can create content, it can't be you, and it won't always use the words and the tone that you use as a human being. So it's important, when you use AI to maybe create your content, write you posts, you might put in a prompt line into AI that says, write me a post about August. I'm going to use August as an example because it's National Wellbeing Month here in the UK. So you might put something in that says, write me a post about national wellbeing that links to my brand, tone and style, and AI might generate something back for you. It's important then to read it and make sure that it's not used in language you wouldn't use in your normal everyday kind of life. So it sounds like you. So words that AI use quite frequently, in my experience, is the word elevate. Personally, I don't use elevate as a word that often. So if it was coming from me, I would change that word to something else that made more sense for me and my business. So, and that's really my personality and using my tone, style, language that is relevant to my business, as opposed to everybody who puts AI out and doesn't read it. Just literally, it's like everyone's using the word elevate all of a sudden. But whilst I'm saying personality, you still need to appear professional. But professional doesn't have to mean corporate or boring. And personality helps build a familiarity, and it helps people understand who they are choosing to work with. So ask yourself this. So if your logo disappeared from your content, would people still recognize it as yours? If the answer is no, maybe your personality isn't coming through strong enough. If it's yes, happy days. Move on, we say. The fourth pillar part is trust. And trust is really the currency of modern marketing these days. And trust is built with through many small actions of being transparent, sharing expertise, showing evidence, keeping promises, being consistent. So if you're delivering something, even if it's just even if it's just social media, be consistent on when you're delivering that social media out. So it's really clear to people when it's coming. They know maybe to think that they'll always see something from you on a Wednesday at 10 o'clock in the morning or something, because that helps them build confidence, build trust that they can rely on this business. And strong marketing that reduces uncertainty is a good thing, because trust reduces risk for your audience. Sorry, I do know I rattle through slides at a pace. So the last part is consistency, as I was just talking about, being consistent. And connection doesn't build through on one social media post or one marketing campaign. Consistency is built over time. And every interaction somebody has with your brand shapes their perception. And with AI, it's increasingly important that across every single channel that you go on, you're consistent with your messaging and your approach. So whether that's your website, your social media, your emails, sales conversations, customer experience, customer journey. So as you onboard them as a customer, everything that goes through your business and woven through is consistent. It doesn't feel like all of a sudden you brought them in with marketing and then they've gone on to something like another area of the business as they've become a customer, and all of a sudden it's like they're working with a completely different business. It should all flow through with consistency and messaging and being recognizable. And your audience should know what you stand for, what you offer, and what experience they can get. And that experience flows consistently through every part of your business and every touch point they have within your business. So I guess my main message today is that AI isn't bad, and a lot of people are worried, they're scared, they're a bit frightened, but some people have really embraced it. And whilst AI isn't bad, it's far from it. It's powerful. Business should use it. You should understand it before you start using it, as best as the information you can get. But it's understanding how AI adds value into your business and where humans add value, and particularly within your marketing, where humans add value in terms of messaging and approach and content delivery, and how they use what AI is creating, but make sure you're putting a human lens on it. So if I'm just going to flip back, if I can, I'm sure I've got another framework here somewhere. Here we go. So if I flick back to this framework, so how you sound and the clarity that you give around how you sound first, and your presence and your empathy and how you communicate your meaning, you can do most of that. Most people will use AI for. The important bit is that judgment of knowing when it's okay to use what AI has created, and when you need to change it and say it in a way that only you can say it, and make sure people resonate with that. And whilst you can personalize AI and you can schedule everything, there's still some link on a human level that needs to come back to be able to get that customer and work with that customer. So, sorry, I know I flicked over a few slides. I'm just going to flick back. So, if you're looking to put the framework into place, review your marketing through 5 questions. Is your current marketing clear? Is it empathetic? Does it sound like your business? Does it build trust? And is it consistent? If you have a no to any of these, that's where you can start putting in some improvements. If you've got yes across the board, absolutely, you're doing an outstanding job. But I would imagine most businesses, even if I look within my own, there's probably a no in there somewhere that I know I can improve on and build on. So you could do a quick audit exercise, and I will share the recording and I will share the slide deck so you have the framework without having to watch the whole recording, and you can do this audit. So if you think about a recent piece of your marketing, score it 1 to 5, with 1 being close to a no and 5 being yes, it's absolutely on point, and see where you land. And that will help you identify which area needs the most attention in terms of your framework and what you're creating. So key takeaways are, I would say, in an AI saturated world, more content is not always the answer. We're surrounded now in the world by more content than ever before because of the speed that things can be created and generated. And because of that, the brands that stand out won't necessarily be the ones that are producing the most, that are posting the most. The ones that will stand out will be the one creating the clearest emotional connection. And as I've mentioned, whilst AI can create efficiency and help us work faster, smarter, help us reword things more succinctly than spending 2 hours over one sentence, as I have done in the past. It's the humanity that creates the differentiation. So your voice, your experience, your understanding of customers. Because if you just say put into AI right now, you've not done anything else, tell me about my customer, how are they going to know? AI only works from what you prompt it to tell you. So it still needs a human to interact. And once you've got understood your voice, experienced customers, they're the things that then become to make your business memorable. And the future of marketing isn't about becoming less human, it's about technology helping us to become more human. So thanks for joining us today. I will stop the recording in a minute. Hopefully the session's giving you some practical ideas for thinking differently about your marketing in the age of AI. I will, once I stop the recording, if anybody's got any questions, I will answer those. Businesses that understand their audience, communicate clearly and show personality are the ones that will continue to stand out. Now, if you'd like any more advice on the framework or apply how you might apply it to your marketing, more than happy to continue this conversation. And you can book a call with me, not a problem. You can dot on my website, there's a calendar link, or you can just message me on there or link in with me, however you want to communicate. Drop me a WhatsApp, email, I really don't mind. And yeah, more than happy to help, have the conversation, work out how this framework can help you in your business. And yeah, just to say thank you for your time, and I'll stop the recording before